Mangalacharanam. Ramo Rajamanis Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje. Ramena Bhyata Nishacharachamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha. Ramannasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmya Uddhara. Rama Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tatulyam Ramanama Varanane. Shri Ramanama Varanana Onnamiti Ata Shri Maheshwar Sutrani A I N R Ruk E Ong I Auch Hayavarat Ranya Nyama Na Nam Javain Garadash Jabagaradash Kapha Cha 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 Tav Kapai Sha Sha Sar Hal Iti Maheshwar Sutrani. So when you are the main student in this class, so last time what sutras did you learn? When last two sutras you learned last time?
I learned 1 to 46.
What is 1 to 46? What does it say?
Kritadita Samasascha.
Very good. What is that? Which is Sanya Sutra? What kind of Sanya does it give?
Sanya Sutra. So if it's ending in, if it's a Kridanta or is it a Tadita or just Samasa, it's going to be called a Pradipadikam.
Pradipadikam. And the next sutra we'll after that was?
Supo Dhatu Pradipadikayo.
Supo Dhatu.
So inside of a Dhatu or a Pradipadikam, sup etc. that kind of affixes would be elided.
Like look. So pratyas look shlu lupaha. So
we can build on look, that. Not lopa. Huh?
Not lopaha. What's it? So in fact we can give it to sutra right now. I can give it to sutra right now. First is that pratyasya luk shlu lupaha. So pratyasya luk lupaha is a special kind of sutra which says the look, when you do a look or a shlu or a look elision, you don't apply alone tyasya and everything like that. Because when you do any kind of an adesha, the lopa is also an adesha of a zero. In that case you do alone tyasya and nicha, we were talking in Raja's class. And these four sutras, which alone tyasya, nicha, ade, parasya, aneka, sarvasya, they only for an adesha. And adesha includes lopaha. But it says pratyasya luk shlu lupaha. So when this luk, shlu and lup only appear to pratyaya, and the entire pratyaya goes away. There is no question of alone just anything like that. Pratyasya luk shlu lupaha. So that you can take it for that one for today, 1161. Pratyasya luk shlu lupaha. If you want to
1161.
1161. You have Vasu's translation, right?
Yes, I have, yes.
Yeah. So what you can do is that you can read the simple English meaning from there.
Okay. Okay.
Look at the Kashika also. So if you want, you can quickly go through the English meaning of pratyasya luk shlu lupaha. Because only pratyas take luk, shlu, and lup. Pratyas luk shlu lupaha. Adesha can come anywhere. It can come into dhatu, into pradipadikam, can come, and then, as I said, the adesha will also require alone tyasya and all that. But when the pratyaya, that's one difference. So meaning pratyas. So the disappearance of an affix when it is caused by the words luk, shlu, or lup are designated by those terms respectively. And then one important thing which comes in here, the second sutra for when today is the nalumatangasya, which says normally you have pratyaya lope, pratyaya lakshanam.
Right.
Like we just saw in the word Rajan, we doing this kroshtur pradipadikam, we had kroshtan and all that. So because the supratyaya came and took lopaha, by pratyaya lope, pratyaya lakshanam, you still got the padasanya by supti and padam.
Yes.
But that is fine. But then there's one condition is that na lumata angasya, is that when you do a luk, shlu, or lup, lumat means that which has lu in it, lumat. So with this luk, shlu, lup all three have a lu in them. So when that kind of elision is done, then you cannot do any anga karyam based on the pratyaya. Any anga karyam. So that's the difference between lup, shlu, lup, and the simple lopaha. So lopa is done, you can still do pratyaya lope, pratyaya lakshanam, and you can do everything that pratyaya would have done, you can still do. But yes. When we do luk, shlu, or lup, then you cannot do any anga karyam based on that. Okay? Let me give you a quick example. Okay. The pradipadikam, let's say the pradipadikam kim in the neuter, napumsaka. Okay. If you take the Prathama, Dvitiya, Ekavachanam, if you take Kim plus Su or Kim plus then you get Samo Napumsakat Luk Syat.
Right.
It's a look, but Samo Napumsakat. Okay? Now,
Right.
when that happens, the Sutram Kimah Kaha cannot apply anymore. Because Kimah Kaha requires that the Vibhakti Pratyaya to be present there. It depends on the Vibhakti Pratyaya being Kimah Kaha. Kimah Kaha says Vibhaktau. So in place of Kim, the Adesha is Ka, but that requires Vibhaktau. Vibhakti to be there. Because C comes from this Vibhaktau. So when you do, when we take Kim plus Su or Kim plus Napumsakalinge, Samo Napumsakat Luk Syat. So yes, you do have Pratyaya Lope, Pratyaya Lakshanam, but Nalumatangasya. So the Kim does not become Ka. So that's the thing which happens. So that's really the only place in the entire declension of Kim Pratipadikam, the only place the Kim does not become Ka when you do the Luk elision of Su and Nam Samo Napumsakat. Everywhere else it's going to become Ka because Nalumatangasya. Okay, so that's 2 for today, Ben.
What's the second one number? That
Yeah, it's I think 1163 or 4. I think 63. I think.
1163.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Let's start. In fact, you can start for us here. Let's do Raghuvamsham. We are doing the second half. The Kshatriya Kopadhana Chisham Tatasandadhe Drisham Udagratarakam. Okay, the whole shloka was that Arjam Mitivadinam Sonaveksha Bharatagrajo Yataha Kshatriya Kopadhana Chisham Tatasandadhe Drisham Udagratarakam. Okay. So now the simple meaning of the shloka was that Sandadhe is the verb. So it means that he placed. Dha is to place or to put, also to bear, might be to hold. So Sandha is to in this case to place, Sandadhe. So the object of that is Drisham. And Saha. Saha is the subject of that. So Saha Bhargavaha. As I always tell you, get the simple gist of the shloka. Even if you don't get all the adjectives, all the clauses, from the beginning, try to get the Tingantam Padam because Eka Ting Vakyam. After that, if it's a Karmani Prayogaha, then the Karma will be in the Prathama, otherwise the Kati Prayogaha will be the Karta in the Prathama. So then if you can try to get the Karta because any Tingantam Padam has to have a Karta. If it's passive, then it's referred to a Karma. That will be the second step. Of course, if it's then you can get the other one, which is if you got the Karma, then you get the Karta. If you got the Karta, get the. These are the 3 basic building blocks. So try to identify these basic building blocks out of this whole shloka, which is confusing. So of course, a few tricks you can also follow to remove things that you don't need. For example, this Argyam, Iti, we talked about last time. Iti ends the quotation. Argyam is inside the quotation. Very good habit. Always identify the Iti. See what's in the quotation. This Iti Vadinam, this whole thing is qualifying Rupam. This is how the shloka builds up, you see. See, Argyam Iti is a quotation. Then that's connected with Vadinam. So one who was saying Argyam. That Vadinam is qualifying Nrupam. Also Dvitiya. That Nrupam is the object of Anavekshya, having disregarded. And this whole thing is a clause. Having disregarded Dasharatha, who was saying Argyam. So this whole thing can be left out because that's not the part of the main sentence. Main sentence is Saha Bhargavaha Drisham Sandadhe. This is also a clause over here. Is Bharatagrajaha Ramaha Yataha mi Yatra Sthitaha then Tatra Tasmin Sthane Drisham Sandadhe. That's also a Saptami. That's a Saptami. So any Saptami, any Shashti, any Panchami, any Chaturthi, any Tritiya, unless you're talking about the Tritiya in the passive, these all can wait. All these can wait. First get Tingandamadam, get the Karta, get the Karma. Of course, every sentence would not have all 3 of them. So you may have just the karta in the sentence. Still, when you have a kriya, of course, it requires a karta. It's an active sense. You have to, get the karta. So this whole thing also is a clause now. So yataha bharata agrajaha. Of course, yata, you can see the vyakhyanam. Yataha means yatra, yasmin sthane. So this is also a clause because you have yat tat construct over here. So yatra bharata agrajaha tatra drisham sandadhe. Now, the drisham has this whole big adjective. Kshatrako padahana chisham. So this we can leave out. We don't have to take the adjectives in the beginning. So if you read the Ramayanam or Bhagavata Puranam or even Gita, less in Gita, there will be so many adjectives, so many. So just leave them out in the beginning. I said to you, there is this book called Bhagavata Churnika. They crushed down the Bhagavatam, crushed it down. Bhagavata Churnika. They make it small sentences because you have a lot of things hanging around. So once you got the main parts, then try to fit the other pieces as best as you can. And even if you cannot fit all of them, it's okay. You got the basic gist of the sentence. So the Tingantam, that's the thing. This is the thing about Panini grammar, is that the Tinganta Prakriya without Panini grammar is nearly impossible to learn. Because how many dhatus, how many lakaras are you going to memorize? Does not make any sense. And the Tingantam Padam is the heart of the sentence. Vakyasya hridaya rupam Tingantam Padam ekating vakyam. Okay? So that is why you said the Paninian way is that without Panini, learning Tinganta Padani is almost impossible. And that being the heart of the sentence, it puts you in a very strong position to analyze the sentence because you got to the heart of the sentence. Sandadhe. Sandadhe means he placed. And then this also is an adjective to drisham. Udagratarakam. So once you break out these pieces systematically, then it is not that hard. It's not that hard to analyze. So one more time, argyam was inside the quotation. So that goes with vadinam. This whole thing is qualifying nrupam. Nrupam is the object of anaveksha. So that whole thing is a clause. Saha, of course, is a karta bhargavaha. Then this also is a clause. Yatra bharata agrajaha tatra. So this is a clause. Then drisham has two big adjectives here. Kshatrako padahana chisham. Udagratarakam. 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 It's qualifying drisham. So these two are adjective drisham. So that's how you can split out all the extra things. Okay. So now, let's do this sandadhe. I think we mentioned to you last time how sandadhe is formed. We will come back to this one in a second. The word kshatram, which we have derived in a prior class. But let's right now look at the word sandadhe. We did in the last class. Sandadhe is a lit lakaraha. Again, we won't go through all the steps. It will take too much time. Just mention to you as we have seen in prior classes. Now everybody in the class should know the first 3 steps. Everybody in the class should know the first 3 steps. First step is dhatu lakaraha. It will be dha plus lit. Second step, tip plus g, which is 3478. Of course, dhatu lakara also you have to have a sutram for that. In this case, it will be parokshe lit. Parokshe lit. So you have to see in which meaning the pratyaya is coming in. It might be vartamane, lat, whatever. So parokshe lit. Then, of course, anubandha lopaha, halantyam, upadeshana nasikayit, tat paschat lasya adhikaraha. That's the second step. Lasya, you bring the appropriate yatha vivakshitam, as per the vivaksha of the speaker. You bring in one of these 18 pratyaha. In this case, in fact, this is a good exercise for you, is that any Tingantam Padam ultimately has to start from one of these 18. So good exercise, when you see any verb, always try to figure out if you can. If you cannot, it's okay. But it must have started from one of these 18. Of course, 9 plus 9. Because, Parasya Padam, Asani Padam, there are 2 sets over here. But every Tingantam Padam has to start one of these 18. So that's the second step. In this case, your pratyaya ta. Now, why is this? Sometimes it may not be very easy. It may not be very easy. So right now, what do we have? We have sandadhe. Sandadhe. Now, the pratyaya to begin with the pratyaya ta pratyaya ta. So we don't have ta in the final form. We don't even have ta over here. So that is what I'm saying, is that it may not be that trivial. It may not be that trivial to reverse engineer these forms. To reverse engineer them may not be that trivial. Because what happens is that, which is going to be our third step, is that in the remaining part of 3.4, Panini will do a lot of substitutions which are based on which lakara you have. Like in this case, pratyaya we have is ta. That ta immediately became an ekaraha balitas tajayor eshirej. This is what happens. Is that even though this sutram is known to, I think, all of you, Tiptaji, etc., but you may not know this sutram, litas tajayor eshirej. So that's why I keep on mentioning this over and over again, is that this is a whole set of sutras, not one single sutra. So once you apply Tiptaji, always this is the third step, which everybody in the class should know, is to look at this lakara sambandhi adeshaha. They are common to all lakara. I mean, every lakara you do this form. So after doing those steps, in this case, litaha tajayor eshirej. Tajayor eshirej. Now, what does Sutram say? Sutram very quickly says, in the lit lakara, the pratyaya ta and ja will take the adesha esh and irej. Litas tajayor eshirej. Litas tajayor. Any new sutram, repeat it as many times as you can. Litas tajayor eshirej. It will help you to recall these. They are very, very powerful mnemonics, very, very powerful devices to spend the minimum memory. In this nowadays you talk about computers, right? So this Panini Ashtadhyayi, you spend the minimum of your memory cells. You store the information in the most efficient way. Most efficient way. It's like a chip, you know. The most efficient saving in your brain. Just tajayor eshirej. Lit lakara, lit adeshayoho, tajayoho, yatha sankyam respectively. Esh, irech, iti, eto, adesha, bhavataha. Right now, pratyaya ta we have, take the adesha, esh. As Hema said, alontyasya will come, alontyasya, but then anekalshit sarvasya. When you have an adesha, always think of alontyasya, which we must have about 1,015 lot already from me. You heard it again, alontyasya. Because in this case, what's happening, the pratyaya, let's put some steps on the board over here. So this form sandadhe, you won't put all the steps. Of course, upasarga is some, leave it out for the time being. Because also there's one more thing, the upasarga is a puthak padam, does not compound. Tingantam na samasyate. A tingantam does not compound. Does not compound. So we have dha, plus we had the, and this was of course by using the lit pratyaya, then we did lasya, tiptajji. Again, I'm not putting sutra for the it lopaha, that I think you know by now. And then we'll use litas tajayor eshirej with 3481. So then we got dha plus a. What happened here was by alontyasya, only the ending akara of ta would have been replaced. But anekashit sarvasya. Anekashit, this is a shit adesha. The adesha was esh. So now you know, of course, alontyasya, I mean, sorry, by the halantyam, that talavya shakara gets it sanya, but now you know why Panini put that talavya shakara as an it in the adesha esh, so that you can apply anekashit sarvasya and replace the entire pratyaya ta, not just the ending akaraha. Okay? So esh, just tajayor esh. So this was 3481 along with T481 along with 1155 from Yeshiresh. Now we can go and do other things. And the main thing here, of course, is the abhyasa karya. Liti dhatoho anabhyasasya. Liti dhatoho anabhyasasya. Is the lit pratyaya follows, the dhatu will take abhyasa one time. Abhyasa means that the only vowels take abhyasa, duplication, and then the consonants on each side go with it. So what's going to happen is only one vowel, the akaraha, so it becomes dha, dha. And then of course the abhyasa karyani, which also give you great bang for the buck. You should practice them. And here what happens is that, so we did litastajayo, resharech. You want to try this one when? You want to do the abhyasa karyam here when? You want to try this? So what happens to the abhyasa? Dha. In fact, you got the answer. So
yeah, but the
you already know the answer. Answer is the. It's already there. The. So you have to get the.
First,
it is good to work from both sides. Nothing wrong with that. You can work from both sides. So finally, we have to get the abhyasa to the. Okay. So one sutra which is saying is the Rasvaha. Rasva is 7460. To refresh your memory, abhyasa karyani saptamasya adhyayasya chaturthe pade charama bhage, the ending portion, starting with sutram atsalopo abhyasasya. The abhyasasya nivritti goes to the end of 7.4, and these are the 4 sutrams. Chatvari sutrani is Mahatva Purvani, which is Rasvaha, Haladish, Sheshaha, and then Kuhoschuhu, and then also the Urat. Now one sutram which is not in this section, of course, is Abhyase Charcha. Abhyase Charcha, Abhyase Charcha. What's going to happen now is that we're going to do Rasvaha, we're going to Abhyase Charcha later on when we do the Tripadi, when you go in Tripadi Karyam, because we should not do in Tripadi Karyam unless you give a full chance to finish all the entire Sapada Saptadhyayi. So first we'll do only Rasvaha by 7.459. Then we get Jha plus Dha plus A. So what we've done is Rasvaha. Rasvaha, Rasvaha. And now we need one more sutram in Sapada Saptadhyayi to remove the Akaraha. And that's Ato Lopa Iticha. Ato Lopa Iticha. Ato Lopa Iticha. Ardha Dhatuke. Ardha Dhatuke. Now this sutram is not very common, also not uncommon. So this is what is difficult about some of the sutras, is that they're not as common as Iko and Chi or something like that, but they're also not very uncommon. So this is where you have to make an effort to remember these, okay? Because if you hear them all the time, like in Akasami Dirgha something, you already know it. You don't have to worry about it. Also, if sutram is not used much time, you don't have to worry about it either. But the ones in the middle, which are used kind of, enough number of time that you need them, but unfortunately they're not very common. So this is one of them, Ato Lopa Iticha, in the Adhikara of Ardha Dhatuke. This Adhikara comes in Ashtadhyaya in 2 places. It comes in 2.4, also in 6.4. 6.4 is Anga Karyam, Ardha Dhatuke. What it says is that if you have a Akarantamangam, Ato Lopa Iticha, for pratyaya which is Ajadi Kitne pratyaya, which we do have, or if we have an Idagamaha there, either in one of those cases, the Akara takes Lopaha, Ato Lopa Iticha. One more time, Ato Lopa Iticha, Ardha Dhatuke. If you have an Akarantamangam, or a pratyaya which has the sanya of Ardha Dhatukam, and then it also should be either Ajadi Kitnit, or should have a Idagamaha with it. In that case, the Akara takes Lopaha, Ato Lopa Iticha. Now, first thing, we just saw the conditions that they should have the sanya of Ardha Dhatukam. So normally we have Ting Shit Sarvadhatukam. Ting Shit Sarvadhatukam, which I think all of you should know. And then Ardha Dhatukam Sheshaha. Ardha Dhatukam Sheshaha. Then how come we are using the sutram now? If Ting Shit Sarvadhatukam, Ardha Dhatukam Sheshaha, then how can we use sutram? Because right now the pratyaya we're having is the pratyaya is A. This A is because of Ting Shit Sarvadhatukam, this pratyaya Ta which came in had a sanya of Sarvadhatukam. Normally it would have, and this A is only an Adeshaha. So Sthanivad Adesha Anal Vidhav, then even A should have sanya of Sarvadhatukam. But the special sutram says Litcha. You see how this interacts so much, The thing in the Prakriya is also the heart of the Panini engine. The central part of the Panini engine is this thing in the Prakriya. It really draws on many aspects of the Ashtadhyayi, particularly Angasya Dikaraha, different things, how all the elements are supposed to work in the Ashtadhyayi. If you want to take the car on a test drive, you you know, go on a test drive on some road which is not a really like a straight road. This Tinganta Prakriya is like that. So try to practice. If you can do Tinganta Prakriya and Ashtadhyayi, then you can do the Prakriya for other things also very easily. Of course, you may not know which sutram to apply, but it will be, once you know how to apply, you will be able to do it. So, lit cha. Lit pratyaya, even if it's when you get the tiptajji adeshaha, it get a sanya of ardhadhatukam. So this is, even though ting shit sarvatukam says that ting and shit pratyaya get a sanya of sarvatukam, if it's a lit adeshaha, then no. Lit adesha will always be only a ardhadhatuka pratyaya. That's number one. Second thing which I said was that this pratyaya has to be kit or nit pratyaya. The pratyaya A to begin with does not have any kitness because the pratyaya we had was ta became A. But Sutram says asanyoga lit kit, asanyoga lit kit. You see how many these interact with each other, you know. So it's kind of fun when you know some of these pieces. If you don't know all the pieces, doesn't matter. You can, you know, leave a question mark and come back to it. So this is asanyoga lit kit. Asanyogat apit lit kit syat. Asanyogat apit lit kit syat. Apit. So what's happening here is that we don't have a sanyoga anywhere here because we had an akarantamangam. So lit pratyaya, it is apit because this pratyaya did not have any pers in it. So we have to. So now what we need is that we have to do the akar lopaha by ato lopa iticha along with the sutra dvayam, dve sutre, which is the so 6464 has to be used. To use that, we will need to use the asanyoga litkit and also the litcha. Yeah, as I told you, when I was learning Vyakaranam, you know, for about a period of 3 years, almost more than 3 years, every week we used to, you know, our guru used to make us, you know, do all lakaras for many dhatus, all 10 lakaras, you know. So after those 3 years, literally, even in your sleep, you can do it. You have to practice. We used to do this for hours and hours and hours and hours. You should make us, you know, say all the lakaras, you know, one by one. So this is only by His grace that, you know, because now it's so easy. And after that, of course, we got the A, and then abhyase, charcha, so that's this form. So if you didn't follow all the steps, don't worry about it. But this is what we have to do to get this form. So here, abhyase, charcha is, of course, straightforward rule. So the dhe, 8454. So of all these rules, I would say the important one that I would highlight here for you is ato lopa iticha. Ato lopa iticha. Because so far, I mean, up to here, it was kind of straightforward. Lishakara got the, even this one, well, maybe you can take this one also. Litastajor eshiresh. Litastajor eshiresh. Litastajor eshiresh. So these two. So you got the A adesha in place of ta, only lit lakara, of course. And then you read ato lopa iticha. Sandadhe means it's the prasana purusha ekvachan rupam. It is the, in English, third person. In Sanskritam, pratham purusha. So he placed. Drisham is a Strilinga Pradipadikam, which is a Shakaranda Pradipadikam, which is ending in Talav Shakar. So Drisham is just Drish plus So Visheshakaryam Nasti, it's Dvitiya Ekavachanam. Now, this entire compound, Kshatra Kopa Dhanachisham, is qualifying Drisham. Look at the commentary. He put Drisham Sandadhe last. And before that, Malinasa put the two adjectives. This Kshatre, Kshatra Kule, Vishaye, Yahako Padahanaha, Roshagnihi, Tasya Chisham, Jwalam Ivasthita. So this is the explanation of the compound Kshatra Kopadahana Chisham. And he put that before the noun Drisham. So that's how you know from this commentary that this is qualifying the Drisham. So is the Udagra Tarakam. Both of these adjectives to the Drisham. Okay. Now a few classes back, we had derived the form Kshatra. So Kshatat Trayate Kshatraha. So Kshatat Trayate. One who protects you from injuries, Kshatra. And this is, so let's go back to the class again. I'll just tell you, this comes in an earlier shloka of Raghuvamsham, which we have not done, but we did look at that part of this one. So let's look at the word, how that place, we already did this in the class, I think it was in October of last year. If you go back to the notes of October 14, 2010, you'll find the discussion of this. I just do it one more time for you. It's how Dhatu Kshan. Dhatu Kshan. I think all of you do pujas. You know the word Akshata. Akshata and Samarpayami, right? Akshata. So Dhatu Kshan becomes the, if you put Nishtha Pratyaya, so it becomes Kshata. Kshan is to injure, to hurt. So Kshata means broken or hurt, in any way, kind of, which has some deformity or something which is some fault it has. It has been hurt in some way. So Akshata means unbroken rice. Akshata and Samarpayami. Okay. So Dhatu Kshan. Kshan plus Krip. So first he's forming a feminine noun Kshat. Noun Kshat. Now feminine nouns, as I said to you in Ashtadhyayi, how to form a noun from a verb is mainly done in the Ashtadhyayi in 3.3. In 3.3. Within that, the feminine nouns are formed in a very small section. This section called Striyam Tin. Striyam Tin. Okay? And there are only about, I think, from this 3394 to 33112. So we got about only 19 rules in Ashtadhyayi. In Ashtadhyayi, there are only 19 rules in Ashtadhyayi how to form a feminine noun from a verbal base. Only 19 rules, as you know, at least in this section. Of course, there may be some one or two somewhere else, but the main rules how to form feminine noun is. Let me copy this down, okay? So we can work with this. Okay. Let me take this down so I can come back. Because that time we're not using these hyphens. I might make them hyphens afterwards. But this is what we had. So this is what, maybe I'll put a note over here. So forming, these are small things, as I said, you can use to get your Ashtadhyayi map in your head. So forming feminine nouns, nouns from verbs, from verbal roots, from, you can say roots, is that goes from 3394, 3394, 33112. Okay. Now the first sutram there is Triyam Tin, like Buddhi, Siddhi, Riddhi, all these words Triyam Tin. But that is a default pratyaya. Of course, that's not being used here because we want to form the feminine noun Kshat. Kshat means injury. Kshat. So Kshat is also a feminine noun. Kshata is an adjective. So Kshatam can also be injury. So when I said Kshatat Trayate, it's slightly different. Kshatat Trayate is in the Pradipati Kshata. This is the Pradipati Kshat, the feminine noun. But how do you form this feminine noun? At 3394 is a Vartikam on that. Vartikam. That the Quip Pratyaya can be used after some dhatus to form a feminine noun. Like a word like Sampat, word like Vipad. So these are, you also have a word like Sampatti also you have. Sampatti, Vipatti also you have. You also have Sampad and Vipad. This is Gana, which Katyayana has put Sampadadi, I think, Quip. Let's go quickly to, so we have to first form this feminine noun Kshat. Kshat means injury. In 3394, it is this Kshat 3394. You see Vartikam on there, and that says that. There are a few Vartikams. Again, as I mentioned to you, in the top level sutram, in the very first sutram, you will have all these Vartikani, normally speaking. So this, when the Pratikam shows this Triyam Tin, they start from the sutram 3394. So that will contain generally the Vartikani. Sampadadibhyaha Quip. Sampadadibhya Quip. So Sampad, Vipad, etc. Okay. So there are these certain dhatus which can take the Quip pratyaya to form a feminine noun. So that's what we first did. Again, this derivation is done by Malinatha himself. In this comes in Raghuvamsha Kavyam, in the second adhyaya this comes. I mean, not the derivation, but this commentary comes there. So quip was added here. And of course, quip means sarvapahar lopaha halantyam upadesha nunasik upadesha ajununasik it shakvatadite then verapuktasya. So the vakara, aprukta vakara also takes lopaha, then you get the ksha. So far you only got ksha. You only got, you only got kshan so far. Only got kshan. How do you get to kshat from that? First thing is that I think that you probably heard this sutram, which is 6437. 6437. See, on the one hand, you can say this is too complicated for me. It's too complicated because just to find out kshatra, give me like 5 or 6 rules. On the other hand, you can say I already know the word kshatra. And now, if I can connect that with all these rules, it will help remember these rules. It will help me remember these rules. Because I can get help remembering these rules with a word that I already know. Because I know the word kshatra. So if I can work it backwards, then I can remember some of these rules because I know the final answer the word kshatra is. So you can look at it both ways. You can look at it, it's too complicated, I don't need this, which is fine. But what I like to do is that I like to remember one word, like in mathematics. They give you one typical problem, From that, you can remember there's so many theorems behind it. This is like that. You remember one word which has behind it so many steps. So you can confirm those steps, remember only one word. You can remember all those learned from that one single word. This is kind of like that. Now, the Sutram 6437, Anudattopadesha Vanasitanotyadinam Anunasika Lopo Jalikiniti. Word like Mati, Gati, Buddhi, this is formed from this sutram, where it say Anudattopadesha. Anudattopadesha means dhatu will be anit dhatu. And if it's ending in a anunasika, nasal ending dhatu, there are only 6 of them, which is man, han, and then yama, nama, gama, rama. There are 6 dhatus. Anudattopadesha, which is anunasika antaha. What happens to them? They lose the anunasika. When followed by jalikiniti. So when you want to say gam plus triyamtin becomes gati. So man plus triyamtin becomes mati, and so on. Not only these 6 dhatus, but also dhatu vanati, tanotyadinam. Now, this dhatu kshan, tanotyadi ket gana. So now tanotyadinam, but we do not have jalikiniti. We do not have jalikiniti. That is the problem, because what happened was the pratyaya actually here was the pratyaya quip, and we did vakara was in there, but vakara is not a jal letter. So this is not, kit is fine, but we do not have the jalikiniti satisfied. So that's why he means Mulinatha goes to Vartikam on 6440. 6440. But this is one more thing that you can do, one more trick for you is that we're looking to do Anunasika Lopaha. Anunasika Lopaha kartavya asmabhi. Tadvidhakam sutram putra bhavet. So how do you get tadvidhakam sutram? How do you get a sutram? You do anunasika lopa. Now, if you know anunasika lopa, because what's happening here is that 6437 talks about tanotyadi dhatus. Okay, tanotyadi nam, and the dhatu kshan is in the tanotyadi gana. Dhatu kshan is in 8th gana, which is tanadi gana. So there is a connection here. I'm looking to anunasika lopa. Looking to do. So this sutram is getting me pretty close, because I have Tanotyadi Gana mentioned here. I do have Anunasika which I need. Only thing is that the Jalikiniti is not being satisfied. This Jali is not being satisfied. So I can look around here, try to get the answer. So this is the trick for you, is that if you know a sutram which gets you kind of 80% of the way, but you're not getting everything satisfied, then go to that sutram. Around there, you're probably going to get the answer of what you're looking for. Because, of course, Panini uses anuvrittis Panini uses. Because Panini uses anuvrittis very, very cleverly. So if you're going to get 80% of your answer in the sutram, but you cannot apply sutram for one thing not being satisfied, then chances are that if you look around that sutram, you're going to find some extension, something else, which is going to make it work for you. Okay. Now, this one is slightly more difficult. This one is, you know, Vartikam on this, 6440 Vartikam. 6440 Vartikam. Just see what that says, 6440 Vartikam. 6440. It's a simple word like Kshatra. It takes so many steps to get it right, but it does help you learn Ashtadhyayi in different ways. And what this is saying is that The Vatikam says, Gamadinam iti vaktavyam. Is this dhatu gam, when the pratyaya quip follows, it takes the also the anunasika lopaha. Gamaha kva uparataha, anunasika lopo bhavati. But we don't have dhatu gam now. We have pratyaya quip we have. So we have pratyaya quip, but dhatu gam we do not have. Again the same principle. We found a sutram which is going to give us the answer. But something is not, in this case a Vartikam I should say, but the dhatu gam we don't have. Then there is a Vartikam which says gamadinam iti vaktavyam. So Katyayana says not only dhatu gam, but also some others like it. Gamadinam iti vaktavyam. So in the dhatu like yam, it's some of these. So now we got a loophole with this Vartikam to remove the ending anunasika nakara. You have become ksha. And then finally with ksha what happens is that you get a tuk agamaha by rasvasya pitikati tuk. This I think sutram you might have heard this sutram, rasvasya pitikati tuk. Right before samhitayam. If you have rasvantam angam, I shouldn't say angam. If you have rasvaham, it's not in angasya adhikara. Rasvam is only ach, of course. If you have a short vowel followed by the rasvasya pitikriti, krut pratyaya which has spur as an it. Of course, krip is a krut pratyaya because krut the thing starts from 3193. So this is the krut pratyaya which has spurs in it. So everything is satisfied. You get the tuk agamaha, of course, adya the prakito, himud it letters, bahalantyam, upadesha nasika it. So you get kshat. So far we found the dhatu. We formed the feminine noun kshat. Dhatu kshan. One more time. Kshan was a dhatu. Pratyaya quip by Vartikam on 3394 Striyam 10. Then we did the, of course, vakar lopaha by Virapraktasya. Then we use the Vartikam on this Sutram 6440. Gamaf kvav. So gamadinam iti vaktavyam. So do the anunasika lopaha, nakar lopaha. Then we got the rasvasya pitikati tuk. We got the feminine Stilinga nama shabda kshat. Now we want to find the word kshatra. This is not that difficult. Now what we're doing is that dhatu trai. Dhatu is trai, trayate. Trayate mahato bhayat, right? It is in fact it's one of my favorite Gita shlokas, is that Niha vikramana shosti pratyavayo navidyate. Salpamapyasya dharmasya. Trayate mahato bhayat. Trayate. Even little of this dharma protects from great fear. Salpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Dhatu trai. Trai becomes trayate. Of course, echo yavayavaha, add the pratyaya shap came in there. But now, remember the sutram which we have, which is any dhatu ending in an H, means aong, I, ouch, a, o, I, o. If that dhatu is being used, it's not going to be, and you know that the dhatu means some pratyaya to come after it. If you have to use a dhatu, it cannot be used on its own. There must be some pratyaya coming after it. If that pratyaya, if you know, is not going to have the talavya shurs in it, then immediately all these dhatus ending in a, o, I, o, they become turned into an akara on the dhatavaha. Akara adesha. So it is the Adesh Upadesha Shati. Very important sutram. Adesh Upadesha Shati. One more time. The dhatu ending in a H, A, O, I, O. It immediately becomes an akaraha, adadeshaha. The pratyaya following is not a talavishya than it. So basically these dhatus which ending A, O, I, O, they have a double character. Is that they stay as the A, I, O, O only on the condition that the pratyaya coming has to have this talavya shaka than it. If that is not the case, it will immediately become into an akara adeshaha. Adesh Upadesha Shati. So this dhatu in A, I, O, O have double character, is that they will immediately change to an akaranta dhatu if the pratyaya which is coming does not have talavishya in it. So what do we have right now? We're going to do an upapada samasa now. With kshat, dhatu trai, prasti pratyaya ka. Now to do upapada samasa means that you have to find a sutram which will justify this compound, and the compounds only come in section 2122. By the way, in the Wednesday class, after 2 more classes, most likely we're going to start a Samasa Prakaranam in the Wednesday class. For the next year and a half, we're going to do compounds in detail in the Wednesday class, starting from about, I think, maybe another 2 weeks from now. In the Wednesday class, we're going to start compounds. So for the next year and a half, we're going to do compound. Also in the Saturday class, after 2 more classes, we're going to do the Tinganta Prakaranam. So for those of you who want to do, if you are interested in learning the Tinganta Prakaranam, the Saturday class, Samasa Prakaranam, in the Wednesday class for the next year and a half. Okay. So this is Upapada Samasa. Samasas only come in 2, 1, 2, 2. Dvitiyasya adhyayasya prathame pade dvitiya pade cha samasa vidhayakani sutrani labhyante. 2, 1, 2, 2. Tasmin samasadhikare tatpurushadhikara vartate. From 2, 1, 2, 2 up to 2, 2, 2, 2 tatpurusha. The ending part of that gives some special tatpurusha. Vishesha tatpurusha samasaha. Visheshaha. And one of the upapadam ating. Upapadam ating. Only one single sutram. Upapadam ating. This means that if you have a qualifying upapadam, you can compound it with another samarthena shabdantarena. So it doesn't have to be a sup. Normally to form a compound you have sup, supa. You need 2 sups ready to form a compound. In this case you do not. That's the speciality of the upapada samasa. Speciality is called vaishishtyam. Vaishishtyam is that supa is not included in this sup, supa. So it can be, so basically it's like a chicken and egg problem, chicken and egg problem. You cannot form the subantam until the compound is there. And the compound can be formed until subantam is there. So to get around this problem, Pawnee says, okay, as long as you have a qualifying upadam, you can take this dhatu, bring a pratyaya with it, and form upada samasaha, even though that sup is not, the subantam is not ready. What do we have right now? We have the dhatu trai, pratyaya is going to be ka, and we have the pratyaya gnyashi. So this trai plus ka is dependent on this upapadam being there. Upapada samasa simply means that this uttara bhaga does not have swatantriyam. It cannot stand on its own. So now, but how do we know which upapadas are qualified, which dhatus, which pratyaya? That's the topic of the dhatu adhikara. We start from 2 to 19, and then branch off to the adhikara of tatrapupadam saptami stham. Tatrapupadam saptami stham. The dhatu adhikara, this is second adhikara. That when dhatu comes 2 times, dhatu, from 3.122 from 3.191. So dvitiya dhatu adhikara, in the second dhatu adhikara, from 3.191. So the question is that, why does Pawnee start a second dhatu adhikara? From 3.122, already dhatu is anvartate. But why dhatu again? Because this dhatu adhikara, these 3 sutras, 3.192, 93, 94, only apply for the dvitiya dhatu adhikara, the second one. One of them is tatrapupadam saptami stham. Means that in this dhatu adhikara, which is from 3.191 onwards, if you have a sutram which has saptami in it, saptami stham, then the word indicated by saptami will be upapadam, will qualify as an upapadam to form upapada samasa. It's a tricky concept now. We're forming compounds here. Forming compounds. Those compounds require upapadam to be there. And this dhatu adhikara will tell you which upapadam will qualify with which dhatu to take which pratyaya to form upapada samasa. So this samasa prakaranam is intertwined here in this dhatu adhikara for the purpose of forming upapada samasa. Because the dhatu take a pratyaya. The dhatu has to take a pratyaya depending on the upapadam being there. For example, as I said, as a practical matter, most of them come from 3 to 1 to 3 to 100, from karmanyan. From here it starts. Most of these come from this 3 to 1 to 3 to 100, or 100. Okay? Let's say the first karmanyan. So if the karma upada is there, not the word karma, but any object, any karma, which is, it is if anything has a karma sanya, if that is upapadam, then the pratyaya an can be used after any dhatu. It didn't say which dhatu. So sarvebhya dhatubhya vidiyate an pratyaya karmani karmanyan. But we don't want the pratyaya an. What we have, we want the pratyaya which is ka, pratyaya kaha. Now, how do I know about the pratyaya kaha? Because again, we just saw ato lopa iticha. We just saw ato lopa iticha. That's something that sutram ato lopa iticha is not very uncommon. Because This dhatu trai become tra because of the 6145, and then we want to remove the akara of tra by ato lopa iticha. Now ato lopa iticha requires pratyaya to be kit nit, so that is why this pratyaya ka will do the job for us. So let's see what do we can we use this 323, can we use it? 323 unfortunately not. So 323. What it says is that atanupasarge kaha is atah anupasarge kaha. If a dhatu akaranta dhatu which doesn't have an upasarga, then karmani upapade. That's the problem now. This is the upapada should be karmani upapade. What do we have right now? We don't have karma. We have panchami. Because kshatriya is one who protects you from injury. From the kshatnyasi. So we don't have karmani. Again, the same principle. We are very close, but we are very close because we have dhatu ending in akara. So akaranta dhatu vidyate, pratyakaha ishyati atra, parantu upapadam karma sanyakam nasti. We don't have the upapadam which is karma sanya. So we have to make a small tweaking. Let's go to the next sutram now. Next sutram, which is this one, which is supistaha. Supistaha, which is also getting us pretty close. It says if for the dhatu stha, only for dhatu stha, any sup can be upapadam. Pratyaya ka can be used for upapada samasaha. Again, we are very close. We got the supi which is here, which is good. The panchami can include in sup, so that's fine. We got the pratyaya ka, but the problem is that it's only for dhatu stha. We have dhatu trai. We're getting close. But there's a vartikam on that. The vartikam on that is the yoga vibhagaha. Vishnu yoga vibhagaha. Yoga vibhaga means that when something, we need to extend the sutram. Sutram needs to be extended for something that we need. Right now, this is only for dhatu stha. But what you do is you split a vibhaga. Yoga in this means sutram. In Vyakaranam, yoga can stand for sutram. Sutram. Yoga vibhaga means that you split a sutram into two parts in order to accommodate something. For shishta prayoga samarthanam. In order to justify shishta prayogas, sometimes you have to take some part of in order to justify shishta prayoga, you have to take some part of a sutram and not another part. Now, how can you do that? Because generally we cannot do that. So supistaha is put over here. So if you look at the dictionary of Abhyanka dictionary, yoga vibhaga, it's a very important concept, yoga vibhaga. You're using it here because we don't have much of a choice. Because we do want to do the akar, we want pratyaya ka is required. This one says only, and for us we can keep it simple. Yoga vibhaga we should not do on our own just like that. We have the vyakhyanam, we have the bhashyam, shishta prayoga we have. So only when the vyakhyanam supports it, we should do yoga vibhaga. So that, but it says yoga vibhaga comes in different places. If I look at the Abhyanka dictionary, leader to quickly yoga vibhaga, just see what he says. Yoga vibhaga. Yoga vibhaga is a division of a rule which has been traditionally given as one single rule into two for explaining the formation of certain words, which otherwise are likely to be stamped as being ungrammatical formations. So the word kshatriya is been used in Gita. First Kalidasa is using it, so we have to justify this form. So what they do is make supi a separate sutram, make stha a separate sutram. So what this means is that when we have the supupadam, then we can take not only dhatu stha, but also other dhatus, which end in akaraha, to form upapada samasa, the pratyaya ka. So one more time, if you have upapadam, any sup can be there. Not only dhatu stha, but even other dhatus can be used, ending in akara especially, to form the upapada samasa, the pratyaya ka. So after that, see how many steps we require. We're still forming one word. Still only forming one word kshatriya. One word kshatriya. We already have like about 10 rules and about 5 different concepts in one single word. So this yoga vibhaga we did of 3 to 4, and then we got the pratyaya ka. Once we do that, then we did atolo padicha, get the form kshatriya. So you already used that. So one more time, dhatu was kshan. Kshan plus quip. this from the Vartikam. So here itself we have a problem. We need a Vartikam. Because the Pratyaya, because Striyam tin, we need to use the Pratyaya quip. The quip, we want to do the Nakar Lopa. One more Vartikam. On 6-4-40, Nakar Lopa, we've got Ksha. We've got Tuk Agamaha. This one you should know, which is the Rasvasya Pitikriti Tuk. So Rasvasya Pitikriti Tuk. And then after that, we went to form Uppada Samasaha. So we got, now to get the Pratyaya Ka, we had to do a Yoga Vibhagaha. So in order to bring the Pratyaya Ka, because Dhatu, this is not a Karma Upapadam. And then we have to also, this is not Dhatu Stha is not there. We had to justify all that. And then finally we used, of course, the Atulota. We need two Vartika, so Vartika Dvayam, that's Pasha Yoga Vibhagaha, to form this word Kshatriya. Is that you, Vasu? This is Ben.
Satish?
Yes, go ahead. Cool.
Is it Shatra meaning Ksha, Ta and Tra?
Yes.
Or
yes.
is it
Let's talk about
Tra?
Yeah, okay, let's talk about that. Okay, let's talk about that for a second. Word like Putra. Putra. Normally Putra is written like this, right? Putra, you write it like this. So Takara Eka Eka Takara Likhyate Prayana. Putra is written like this mostly in
right.
But technically speaking, Putra should be written like this. Putra. Putra.
Oh, it and then
Because how is the word Putra formed? Is Punnam Narakat Trayatiri Putraha. This is also Pura Samasa. Is the one who protects you from going to a hell called Putra. Technically, if you have a son, it's called Punnam. So Put plus Tra. Similar kind of. But now to drop one takaraha, normally which we use Jaro Jari Savarnego. Jaro Jari.
Oh yeah.
But that will not work here. That requires a hal plus a jar plus a savarna jar. What do we have? We have ta ra. Ta ra. So we do have the first is the hal, which is fine. Then we have the jar, which is fine. But then we don't have a jar. Repa. So to do jaro jari savarne, you need to apply it to these two need to be savarna jar letters.
Right.
We don't have that. By the way, jaro jari savarne comes end of Ashtadhya, I think 6. I think 8465 is jaro jari savarne. Jaro jari savarne. Yes. So halaha anuvartate. So if you have a hal plus a jar with a savarna jar. So then that the middle jar will take lopaha. We don't have that. We only have hal plus jar, but this is not even a jar. Forget about being savarna with it.
Right.
So we cannot use, technically we cannot use 8465. But I think in the Mahabhashyam, one place I think Patanjali makes a statement that Shravana Bheda Nasti, between Putra and Putra, you cannot make a difference in the pronunciation. It's very, very too slight. Very, very slight. Putra and Putra. Hard to tell. So only on the basis of that Bhashyam only, we can justify writing at Putra. Because if you look at grammar books, if you look at real grammar books, you put Putra like this, Putra. Same thing as Kshatra. Kshatra also same thing, Kshatra. But the important thing is you cannot use 8465, Jaro Jari Savarne. You need to go to the Bhashyam and all the Shishta Praga finally will do. Okay, so that's the word Kshatra. Interesting word Kshatra. Lot of steps, lot of interesting things. Again, we did the second time we did it in the class. Next time we won't do it. We just tell you where it is. So now what does the compound say? Look at the Vigraha Vakyam. We'll try this one when Kshatre equals Kshatra Kule Vishaye Yahakopaha Yahakopadahanaha Roshagnihi. Let's take this one first. Let's take Kopadahanaha equals Roshagnihi. Now, the Vigraha Vakyam of Kopadahana was not done. He only gave the Paryaya Shabda Roshagni. Now, what kind of samasa do you think when this is Kopadahana? Kopa is of course Rosha is anger.
Right, anger and
Dahana is
Agni Iva Kopa?
First of all, is it Dvandva? It's not Dvandva. Is it Avyabhava? It's not Avyabhava. Because Avyabhava makes Avya, it's not Avyabhava. And Avyaya Bhava normally, many times in the beginning, you have an Avyam as the Pura Padam. We don't have that. Is it Bahuvri? No. We're talking about the Agni itself, not about one who has the Agni or whatever.
Right.
So now we're in Tatpurusha land. So again, let me go to the first three steps.
Oh.
Is it Dvandva? Clearly not. It's not Kopa and Dhana as two separate items. Okay? Is it a Avibhava? It is not. That should be an Avyam. Not only that, the Pura Padam made as an Avyam, like Yatha Shakti, etc. Is it a Bahuvri? Now this is the important step now. Is it a Bahuvri compound or Tatpurusha compound? Bahuvri is what? Anyapada Pradhana. Anyapada Pradhana. This is not that, because we have the Agni has Pradhanyam here. Then we are in Tatpurusha land now. Tatpurusha has also two main branches. One which is called Samadhikarana Tatpurusha, then Vyadhikarana Tatpurusha. Vyadhikarana. Is it fire by Agni?
Is it Panchami?
Could have been Roshad Agni. Could have been Roshad Agni. But then you know what happens then, when the problem is that you have to have the physical Agni over there. Which is coming, you should have one Rosha as a separate item, and Agni is a separate item, and the Agni coming from the Rosha. See, here it is in English, it is the fire in the form of the anger. In English. So the fire and the anger are one and the same item. Not
meaning it's a Karmadharya?
It's a Karmadharya compound. So, but the problem is that the Pura Padam is not, you have to make an adjective by Rosha Eva Agni. Rosha Eva Agni. Like Jnanamrutam. Jnanamrutam, right? So, Jnanam Eva Amrutam. So, this is not Amrutam from Jnanam. It could be, but it is Amrutam, which is in the form of knowledge. Nectar of knowledge. Nectar of knowledge. In English, we would say from the fire of anger. Means it is the Rosha Agni. One more thing. No Vigravakyam was given to you. That means that, unfortunately,
we are supposed to know.
This one on our own, yes. Rosha Agni. Like Ajnana Shrinkhala, right? Ajnana Shrinkhala. Jnanamrutam. Same thing, Rosha Agni. Karmadharya. Now, how about this one? Kshatray equals Ksatra Kule Vishaye Yaha Rosha Agni. This is straightforward, right? What kind of compound is this when? So, Saptami.
Chatra Kule says Saptami.
Saptim Tatpurushaha. Saptim Tatpurushaha. So Ksatra Kule Rosha Agni. And he says Vishaya Saptami. Vishaya Saptami. So it was a fire in the form of anger, anger centered on, anger in regard to, in the context of, anger towards, in English, anger towards the Kshatriya. Now, Kshatriya also stands for one Kshatriya. But like you say in English, you say man is a cruel animal, right? So man doesn't mean one man. It means the human race. Same thing, Kshatriya equals Kshatra Kule. Vishaye Kopadhanaha. So this was the Karmadharya. And then we have Saptam Tatpurushaha. And then Tasya Archisham. Archisham. So it is means Jwalam Iva Chitam. So this drishti was situated, was like a flame of the fire, which was the fire of anger, the anger directed towards the Kshatriya race. So one more time. His gaze is drishti. Drisham means drishtim. Drishtim is same thing. Drishti is jwalam iva. Dvitiya ekavachanam, like in the shloka I have. So like a flame of the fire, or the fire in the form of anger directed toward the Kshatriyas. Now, the thing is, so it is basically, it is a Karmadharya here, Saptim Tatpurushaha, and then a Shashti Tatpurushaha. Shashti Tatpurusha. Tasya Archisham Tatpurusha. Now, the question is that he made a comment of Archisham equals Jwala. Now he's going to justify that. Amar Kosha. Is Jwala Bhasor Napum Syarchihi. Napum Si means in the neuter. This Archis can be used. Jwala and Bhas. Jwala is a flame. Jwala is a flame. And what is bhas? Comes in Gita, right? Famous shloka of Gita. Like
Bhas
the
is
luster.
light.
It's the luster or the glow, the glow or the shining. Comes in Gita, very famous shloka. Divi surya sahasrasya bhave yuga buddhitha yadi bhas sadrishi sasya. Chapter 11, sorry. Yadi bhas sadrishi sasya bhasastasya maha. This is the atom bomb shloka, right? Atom bomb shloka, this one is when the first atom bomb was,
Satish ji.
Yes.
Satish ji.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So, Surya is also called Achyushman.
Achyushman, yes. One who has like
Jwala.
radiance, radiance. So this is the shloka in Gita. Divi surya sahasrasya bhave yuga buddhitha yadi bhaha. This is bhas, pratipadikam bhas. Sadrishi sasyad. This is sadrishi sasyad. Bhasastasya mahatmanaha. We have bha and bhasas. So this is a feeling of pratipadikam. Sadrishi sasyad. So it means that if they had to be in the sky 1,000 suns rising at the same time, then the luster of that may resemble the luster of that Vishwapurushaha. Anyway, so when the first atom bomb was exploded, this was the shloka which came in his mind. Divi surya sahasrasya bhavedyuka buddhitha yadi bhasadrishi sasyad bhasastasya mahatmanaha. So look at the Upadikam bhas. So bhas, let's look at apte, of course, bhas. Yadi bhas sadrishi sasyad. So bhasastasya mahatmanaha. So light is a feminine noun. Light, luster, brightness, ray of light, as Vasu said, because Archishman is a Surya. So that is bhas. So Amar Kosha says you can use Archish in these two meanings. One is the flame or like a radiance or a ray of light or of brilliance. So he's using Jwalam. So he's justifying the use of Jwalam for Archish. Okay? When Archish has two or three meanings, used from the context. Yatha yogyam. So that's one adjective. Second adjective is udagra taraka kaninika yasyasta. What kind of compound is this, when? What kind of compound is this? Yasyaha tam. This has to be Bahuvari compound. The Bahuvari compound yat padam in the Vigraha Vakyam. That is the Bahuvari he lakshanam. Lakshanam. Vigraha Vakya yat padam prayujyate. Is that this it was a glance which was or a gaze in which the eyeballs were raised, with raised eyeballs. Udagra taraka kaninika yasyaha tam. So it was a gaze of raised eyeballs. So taraka is, of course, he gives a meaning for that, because taraka can also mean maybe a star or something, but taraka means kaninika. Again, this is how you expand the vocabulary. Kaninika. Kaninika means that it is a eyeball, raised eyeball. So taraka kaninika. Look at Apteji again one more time. So kaninika. 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 Sometimes you may have the kan at the end. Kaninika. Taraka, kaninika. What's not coming in? Let's see. Kanika. Kanina. Kaninaka. The pupil of so kaninaka and kaninika. This is part of it. Looks like the pupil of the eye. The pupil of the eye. So it is that. So okay, kaninika. The kaninika. Here it is. So it's in Upanishad. Brahman Upanishad. Because in Upanishad, it has Ya kaninika. Kaninaka is there. I think kaninika also is there. Okay. So there's a lot of Pata Veda. In Apte, when you search Apte, somebody don't find the word, because it has a lot of Pata Veda. So it's kaninaka, your kaninaka, kaninika. So anyway, it's a Bahuvari compound. Is that in which because it says Taraka Akshana Kaninika Amaraha. Amar Kosha says Taraka can mean the pupil of the eye. Akshnaha Kaninika. Akshi Akshnaha Kaninika. So final meaning, let's see who's ready for the final meaning. Nagarajji is here. Nagarajji, you ready? Try this one. If you're there, when you can take it from. Okay, when go for it.
Okay.
So not minding. Would that be?
Not minding the king was the aveksha.
Anaveksha.
Anaveksha.
Anaveksha. Aveksha means regarding, examining.
Regarding. Right, opposite.
Anaveksha means not disregarding.
Disregard.
Regarding Anaveksha. The king.
Naram. Nrupam.
Nurunpatit Nrupaha. Nurunpatit Nrupaha. So, by the same, but Nrupaha also the same sutram. You see, Nrupaha, you just use the sutram that the pratyaya ka, which just use this dhatu pa rakshane. So the same sutram, if you have Nrupaha, we can use the same sutram, which is this one 323, you know. Atunupasarge kaha. Atunupasarge kaha. So you can use the dhatu, I mean, nru, plus you can use shas, plus dhatu pa, pratyaya ka. Of course, do the Bhavin Sutras, you can use 1 to 46, 2 for 71. The Shas will take Lopaha. Then, of course, you do Ato Lopa iti cha. So, Nrupaha also says same Pratyaya ka from Dhatu Pa. Ato Nupasarge kaha. Okay, Nrupaha, who exclaims?
Argyam iti.
That's the
I guess iti.
That's the iti.
Oh no, Vadinam. Exclaim the Vadinam.
Sorry. Vadinam. I'm sorry.
Yes,
You're right, when you got me there. Yeah. So Vadinam. Argyam iti Vadinam. Comes in Gita, right? Because it says Nanadasti iti Vadinaha. So no Anyadasti iti Vadinaha. So one was saying that. So now, yes, correct. Who is correct? Exclaim. When you have skill for this, when you're going to be good at this, when just put some effort into this, you know.
Effort, yes.
Need some ekagrata, some concentration.
Yeah.
Have that
Testimony.
Because you have the nisarga, nesrikam phalam. You have the
yes.
So you have to make some effort.
Yeah.
That is really hard to get, you know. The nesrikam
Yes.
is hard to get. Nesrikam is hard to get. Okay, so
Yes.
Vadinaha. Vadinam.
Offering. Offering. Okay, Argyam.
He is
Saha Bhargavaha. Directed Sandadhe.
Okay. His is understood.
His eyes, Drisham,
of terrible pupils.
I guess that makes it Udagra Tarakaha.
Tarakam.
Tarakam.
I think means like, you know, rays, like, you know.
Terrible rays, okay.
Yeah, terrible is a little bit, okay. Towards that quarter.
Towards it, I mean, that becomes Tatra. Tataha is Tatra.
So Tatra is towards. That quarter is Yatra Yataha. This is used Yatra.
Okay.
So towards that quarter, Yatra Tatra. Let's see now. Next thing is the where is the Yatra? Quarter of Yatra was the eldest brother of Bharata.
Okay, Bharatagrajaha. Bharatagrajaha.
Was understood was so. I think this where was is the Yatra Yataha. Now, eyes that looked like a flame of anger which burned the Kshatriya. That
Kshatrakule Dahana.
So eyes which looked like a flame of fire. So this Achisham.
Now, the word actually, the Pradipadikam is Archis. So which becomes okay.
So this is the anger, which is like a flame of the fire of anger directed toward the Kshatriyas. Now let's see that let me see what Devadarji has to say about the raised eye pupils.
Yeah.
He may have something different. What's the 69, right? So 69 he says that Oh, which is fierce pupil. See, just say fierce. Okay. So fierce. Okay, then maybe that has a different meaning then. Udagra nama means is like, raised.
Let's see, Apteji, what's Udagra? Let's
I
see.
take it back then. So maybe it means, I thought like raised eyeball. Udagra means Udgatam agram. That's also Bhavri. Whose tips is raised,
Yeah. Yeah. It says with the elevated top projecting, pointing upwards.
Udagra is an adjective. So Udgatam agram yasya. So which is, like vidava, vidava. Elevated top.
Okay. Meaning number 8 is fierce, fearful.
But I think we are fine because with raised eyeballs working fine. Right? Eyeballs were the kind of raised,
I guess when you raise your eyeball, it means you are angry or something.
Look at the example though. Look at the example. Sandadhe.
Sandadhe.
Udagrataharakam. So he can say it. So now you know.
Yeah.
I guess in this context it means fearful. Okay.
Yes.
So all right. So that's that. Let's do the next one. This one is an easy one. It's an easy one. Let's see how much we can do today. Okay. So tena karmuka shakta mushtina raghavo vigatabhihi purogatah anguli vivaracharinam sharam kurvata nijagade yutsuna tena karmuka nishakta mushtina raghavo vigatabhihi purogatah anguli vivaracharinam sharam kurvata nijagade yutsuna. One more time. Tena karmuka nishakta mushtina raghavo vigatabhihi purogatah anguli vivara charnam sharam kurvata nijagade yutsuna. One more thing, you can try this one more trick if you can, is read the shloka loudly, clearly, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, and you'll be surprised. After you read it 4, 5, 6 times, how many parts actually hit you, how many things that if you just read one time and go to the translation, it's not doing good service to it. If you read the shloka, 4, 5, 6 times, you will start getting more and more out of it. So, okay, what's the thing on the padam here? Thing on the padam is nijagade. Okay, now this is the difficult part of the shloka. Difficult part of the shloka. Let's look at it. Nijagade. Who's the subject of that? Dhatu gad. I think gad means to tell, to address, to narrate. Dhatu gad. Gad. So gad. Dhatu gad. Okay. So it says that gadati is to speak, articulate. I think yaktayam vachi. I think so. To speak, to relate, to kind of address, to speak.
So gad is same as gad.
Is that gad root is the one which gives you the gadya?
Gad, exactly, gadyam, yes, correct. Same thing. So gad. Now I think in the dhatu pasha, take it dhatu gad. I think the way it's given is that to speak articulately, I think vyaktayam vachi. Articulate speech, not like the the sound of birds and this and that.
I see.
Yeah. So articulate also means there's a condition on that. So if you so gad is something speech you can make the meaning and sense out of the speech. So gad is vyaktayam vachi. Yes, gad. So now who is the subject of that when you think?
Looks like Raghava, huh?
It has to be Bhargava.
No, Raghava, I thought.
That's the problem. That's what I'm trying. But from the story, who's going to speak now? It's Bhargava. Right. Means the story is pretty obvious, right? Because now Purusha is going to speak to Rama. Right, straightforward, isn't it? So now what Vayana is saying in the shloka, you have Raghava and Prathama there.
Right.
What could it be then now? What does that mean? Because Raghava is the karma, is the object of the speaking, not the subject. While the subject is Bhargava, he's in Tritiya. Then what does that mean? This is the Karmani Prayagaha. This is the difficult part of the shloka, is that this Prayoga, Tinganta Prayoga is Karmani. It's a passive usage.
Okay.
Now normally what happens in the passive is a pratyaya yak. like uchyate,
Yeah.
pachyate, likhyate, labhyate, and so on. Now, why do you not get the signal over here then? Then why did the pratyaya yak not come in the form nija gade, which is passive? Because of the simple fact that the pratyaya yak only comes sarvadhatukeyo.
Right. It is
Sarvadhatukeyo. And because of some lit pratyaya has the sanya of ardhadhatukam. So one more time, is that when we don't have pratyaya which has the sanya of sarvadhatukam falling, when the pratyaya falling has the sanya of ardhadhatukam, and if it's a passive usage, they will not be yak. So the sutram sarvadhatuke yak bhavakarmano. So now unfortunately what is going to happen now is that, but remember one thing which we always emphasize on is bhavakarmano 1.3.12 says that if it has to be, if it's passive, it has to be atmane padam. If it is not atmane padam, it is not passive. So the fact we have formed a nija gade should give you a hint right there. Should give you a hint. Look what Apteji said. What did Apteji say? He said that gadati. So this is a parasmapadi dhatu. It has taken asanipadam ending over here. So that should be a big tip-off for us. A big tip-off is that this dhatu gad is a parasmapadi dhatu. See, dhatu gad was given as gadati. Gadati. So now that is a big tip-off. First of all, you see an atmanipadam ending. Secondly, you have this tena. The karta is in tritiya. So tena bhargavena parashuramena raghavaha. And but you know what? Simple thing. Look at the commentary. He says karmani lit. He makes it very easy for you because Mulinasa knows that's the problem in the shloka. The biggest difficult thing in the shloka is that this is a passive form. And from the story, you know clearly the next person to speak is going to be, because obviously he's looking at him with fierce eyes like that, he's going to threaten him with something. So he's going to be speaking. He's the active person here. Is Bhargava, not Raghava. So second thing is that we had this tritiya, the karta going tritiya over here. Third thing, look at the atmanipadam ending coming over here. These are all the indications that this is going to be a karmani pravaha. The important thing is that in the form nijagadev, you will not get the pratyaya sarvadhatuke, yes, because as sutra is only sarvadhatuke. So basically, 3-1 yak pratyaya comes bhavakarmano, which is fine. Yak pratyaya is bhavakarmano. So in bhava and karma, so impersonal passive or passive bhavakarmano. Bhavakarmano is anuvritti karmano, but only sarvadhatuke. So remember that if it's a, let me give you a quick Gita example of which I like, sarvadhatuke. Now, so but this bhavakarmano 1.3.12 will always hold in the passive. Always hold in the passive. So if it is passive, it is going to be apanipadam. Going to be apanipadam. This is only comes sarvadhatuke. In Gita, shloka in Gita, which I like for this sutram, which is the sarvadhatuke yak, shloka which is like yajñatva moksha se shubhat. Chapter 9, first shloka. Idam tute gujyatamam pravakshyamyanastu jave. Jnanam vidya sahitam yajñatva moksha se shubhat. The moksha se shubhat. The moksha, this is a future tense. Dhatu much. Having known which, no, is this active or passive? How do we know? Moksha se. Again, dhatu much. I think maybe, let's see, dhatu much, maybe ubhayapadi, maybe parasapadi dhatu, it might be. You look at the ending. Look at the ending is a parasapadam ending. Dhatu much is a mochate to deceive, but munch, unfortunately, ubhayapadi dhatu. Unfortunately, this is not going to be as easy because dhatu munchati munchate. So this is not going to be as clear. But look at the meaning. Having known which, you will be released from all evil. You will be released. I'm going to tell you this most secret knowledge. Having known which, you will be released. So this is a passive form. Moksha se shubhat. Not you will release, because look at ashubhat. From all evil, you will be released. Moksha se. So Gita Shlokas 9.1. Think of the sutram sarvadhatuke yak. Sarvadhatuke yak. Only sarvadhatuke. Pratyaya here is sya. Sya. Because Shatasi lutoho. Sya is ardhadhatukam sheshaha. So Gita 9.1. So Gita 9.1. Gita 9.1. Oh. Okay. Let me do it. Gita 9.1. That is my favorite one for this example of. Okay, I'll put it down here. Okay, so that's the difficult part of this. The rest of it is kind of. So let's. Nijagade, I think, should be a straightforward form for us now because dhatu is gad. We won't go through all the steps. We've done them many times. We've done them already. So dhatu is gad. This is lit lakaraha. Do the abhyasaha. Now, in fact, you know what? We had almost the same steps that we had for sandadhe, except for the atolopa iticha. Everything else is going to be very similar because nijagade, the dhatu gad. You do haladisheshaha, and then the abhyase charcha, and in the meanwhile, before all of that, litas tajayo reshirech. So this is going to be very similar steps. So nijagade. I won't put all the steps on the board because it takes too much time. So ni ja ga je. I'll just put the sutram. Of course, we need litas tajayo reshirech from the pratyaya is the sarvadesha because of anekashit sarvasya, and then we have haladisheshaha. Of course, we can use 618, which is liti dhato anabhyasasya haladisheshaha, and then also abhyase charcha nijagade. So nijagade. So now we can start forming around this. See, this is what I mean. You got Tinganda Padam you got in your hand now. Now you can build that is your like Meru Parvataha of the Vakyasya. Vakya Lokasya Meru Parvataha. Tigantam Padam is this the central focus Tinganda Padam. So now you know the verb, now you know also the subject, you know the object. There's some adjectives floating around now. That's all this is. So simple sentences. That is Raghavaha Sri Ramaha is Bhargavena Uktaha. He was addressed by Bhargavaha. Now Bhargavaha has some adjectives. What are they? Let's take them one by one. You want to try to find some of these? Karmuka Nishakta Mushtina. Karmuka Nishakta Mushtina. What is Karmuka? What does the word Karmuka mean? When?
I don't know.
Okay, Karmuka. Karmuka is Dhanu.
Dhanus. Oh, okay.
Karmuka. So vocabulary increases, which is good. Karmuka. So Karmuka is it. So a bow. Karmukam is a bow. Karmuka. Nishakta Padhatu Sanj means attached. Kind of Karmuka. Nishakta Mushti. Mushti, of course, is a fist. So he is. Look at this. No Vigraha Vakyam. No Vyakhyanam also.
Right. My God.
So tatra paryaya shabda vinasti na diyate. Vigraha Vakyam na diyate. Kasmat sarvam spashtam iti manyate.
Because, well, Karmuka, now that you say it, I remember it was there in the previous sloka.
Yes.
So he didn't explain it.
English, Vigraha Vakyam in English. Try in English. Vigraha Vakyam was in English. When quickly. So let me tell you.
This is. I think this is Bahuri.
It has to be because we're not talking about.
Has to be because
we are talking about Bhargava.
person who has that mushti, so
I
it is
already told you
Bhargava.
this is an adjective to Bhargava, Tena. We already know that.
Right.
So this whole
Right.
compound has to be translated to Bhargavena.
Right.
So Parashuramena. Now mushti is a noun at the end. So in order to make an adjective out of it, we're going to have
Has
a
to be
Bahuri compound.
Bhargava, yes.
Okay, so now we got that. So mushtihi yasya saha. That part we can formulate safely. So one whose fist was doing something. Okay. Now one more thing in a Bahubali is that you gotta get a new mic, when you gotta get a new mic or a headset. Your mic is kind
echoing?
of flickering. Yeah, it's echoing. So it's okay. I mean, it's not too bad. But get a headset or you can call it on the phone maybe. So Nishakta, look at the Nishtha Padam. Nishtha is a Pura Padam. In the Ashtadhyayi Paniya Sutram, Nishtha in two places. Nishtha is of course what we call as a past, passive participle, not a very good name, but this is what we use many times, the Dhato Adhikaraha, in the Bhute Adhikaraha, Nishtha. But Nishtha also comes in the section on compounds, which tells us in a Bahuvari compound, the Nishthantam Padam should be the Pura Padam. Also another tip of a Bahuvari. It's like, you can say like Vidhava. So Vigataha, Dhavaha Yasyaha Cha. Okay, Hema is saying black clouds. Black clouds. Yes, Hema, what's the black clouds?
I thought Karmuka.
Oh no, Karmuka is a bow.
Okay. Because in...
Which one? Oh. Do you chant the Ramaraksha Sutram? It is in there. Karmuka is in that. I think Karmuka might come in Devamahatyam also, probably somewhere. Yeah, but Karmuka is a bow, not a gun. It's okay. So you want to try his compound? No, we have you Hema. You want to try his compound for us? So how would you say it in English? Karmuka is a bow. Nishakta means like attached. Mushti is a fist. So how do you want to make it, Hema? You want to try it in English? One whose fist was attached to his bow. So simple as that. So he was simply speaking that. So one whose, so Karma, I would say.
Fist is attached to the bow.
Yes. So he was, so Rama was addressed by Parashurama. Parashurama was such that he was basically holding his bow in his hand, but this means that he was one whose fist was placed on the bow. So you should say Karmukhe Nishakta Mushtihi Yasya Saha.
Yes, sir.
Yasya Saha. Again, you can take it step by step. You can leave Karmuka out of it from the beginning. In the beginning, leave Karmuka out of it. Why am I saying that? This is a Tatpurusha compound. Karmuka Nishakta. So Tatpurusha compound has to have the Pradhanyam on the Uttarapadam. So Nishakta is Pradhanyam, which means that you can leave out Karma for the time being. When you want to connect this compound with other terms in the bigger compound, you can forget about the Pura Padam of Tatpurushaha. Remember this simple thing. The Tatpurusha compound, which includes Karmadhara also, of course, because Karmadhara is Tatpurusha Vedaha. When you want to take a Tatpurusha compound, of course, Karmadhara included in that, and it's part of a bigger compound, then leave out the Pura Padam. Because the Pradhanyam is only on Nishakta now, not the Karmaka. So you can simply say Nishakta Mushti Yasya Saha. One whose fist is attached. Attached to what? To the bow. That's secondary. Okay. So Karmuke Mushti. Yes. Let me just check that. I have this book which gives the Vigrahavakyam all this compound. Let's see what he gives. Number 70, right? So let's see Karmuka. Karmuka. So Karmuke, yeah, same thing. Karmuke Nishaktaha. Okay, Mushti apparently is a masculine noun, is it? Okay, I thought it's feminine. Okay, apparently it's masculine. I'll double check that. But Karmuke Nishaktaha Mushti. It says Yena Saha. Okay, possible. Yena Saha also is fine. Now, why say Yena Saha? Nishakta is a passive form. It's a passive form. So Nishakta Mushti Yena Saha. I think yes also should be fine. Let's look at Mushti for a second. We can move on to the next compound. So Mushti, I thought was a feminine noun, but maybe masculine also. So let's see Mushti. So these are not very hard compounds. You know, some simple mushti.
It's like Hari,
It could be like Hari or Mati. We don't know which one, right? So it's
Mushtihi, Harihi.
It is like
Oh,
both.
okay.
It's like
Oh,
Matihi,
okay.
like Harihi. So mushti. Because reason I made that guess because I saw the Pratyak Tich. Okay, the Pratyak Tich is being used. Okay. It's masculine and feminine both. You can say Karmukhe Nishakta Mushtihi. Yes, Saha. Atva Karmukhe Nishakta Mushtihi. Yes, Saha. Yena Saha. Okay. Next one also is a this Kurvata. Kurvat Pratipadikam. Kurvat is qualifying. See how the placement of the Padanva has been done for you so nicely. Because Kurvata is qualifying Bhargavena. That Kurvata has an object of the Sharam of Sharam. The Sharam has another word which is Samadhikaran with it, which is Anguli Vivara Charanam Kurvata. So one more time. Kurvata is Titya Ekavachanam. It is qualifying Bhargavena, which is same Samadhikaran with Tena. So that needs to be put at the end close to Bhargava. Prior to that comes the object of Sharam. That object has what's called the objective complement. Means making the Sharam into this. So he was making his Sharam, of course, is an arrow. Then Anguli Vivara Charanam. Vivara means like the space. Vivara is like avakashaha atva. Vivara I think also mean like a tunnel or a hole. Vivara like an underground like you know tunnel. So Vivara. Vivara means like the space between the gap. In gap, English you can say probably gap. A fissure or a hole or a cavity hole. Can also, I think, it can also be like an underground, like a tunnel. Anyway, so Vivaram. So Vivaram is the hole or cavity. So now Anguli Vivaram. So means the space between the fingers. Anguli Vivaram. If you look at the Vigravakyam, it says that Angulinam Vivarani means the space of between the Shashti can be used, Sambandha Shashti can be used. So it is a space between the fingers. Now Charanam, Anguli Vivara Charanam is of course the famous pratyaya which is the Supya Jato Ninis Tachilye. Supya Jato Ninihi Tachilye. So what this is that Anguli Vivarani Teshu Chari Tam Anguli Vivara Charanam. Like you say, you know, Ushna Bhojan, like Thandira Shayin, so Vivara Charin. So basically, this Anguli we can leave out. I just told you that because we just formed a Tatpurusha compound, which is part of a bigger compound. So forget about the Anguli. We don't need it. Leave it out. Just make it Vivara Charinam. Pradipati Vivara Charin, Pradipati Vivara Charin. Vivara Charin, Pratyaya is Dhatu is Char. Char is also Upapada Samasa. This is a very famous sutram which you're going to see we use many times. Again, we are going back to the same adhikara of this Tatrapapadam Saptamistham, which is in the beginning of the class today. So this sutram is 3278, Supya Jato, Ninistachilye. Supi, any sup can be there. So you can say, so Angulinam Vivarani, you can say Teshu Charanam, Teshu Charati Tachilyen. So that which moves in between the hollows of his fingers. He was kind of, he was like almost like on the verge of employing that arrow. So he was moving his arrow between his finger like he's about to shoot. That's basically what it means. So Teshu. So this sutram 3278, Pratyaya is being used, which means Tachilya. One who does it naturally, habitually, not once in a while, habitually. So he was continuously kind of, putting his arrow between his fingers so that he is going to shoot. Basically, he was threatening to shoot. So quickly put the Ministachilya. So Anguli Ram Vivarani, then Teshu Charati Tachilya. That would be my Vigravakyam for this. Again, Samasa, sometimes you can have different Vigravakyani, Vivara, Vivara plus pratyaya sup, saptami bahuvachanam, then the dhatu char, and then after that pratyaya is nini, anubandha lope nini, anubandha lope of course is chutu, upadeshana nasika it, anubandha lope innavashishyate, nistachilye. So now Hema, can you give me a sutram for doing the upadha vriddhi over here, Hema, by any chance? Try it. I want to do the
Dirga, right?
I want
Dirga
vriddhi also will do for us. Vriddhi or dirgha.
Yeah.
Which one do you want to try to use? You want to try it from. The hint here is that the pratyaya has the shno as an hit. So we have to look at this section which has under achoniti atopadhaya.
Atopadaya.
Atopadhaya, you got it. Atopadhaya. So vriddhi adesha. Atopadhaya. This comes in 7-2, I think 116. So pratyaya has, now you know that no as an hit. If the akara upadhaya will do vriddhi adesha, becomes charin. So then I will just put, we won't try to put all the steps. Of course, charinam, you do the nattam by the atkupam pravaya p, straightforward. So I'll just put here, we won't go through all the steps, common steps. Then use 7-2, 6, yes. So of course the sup will take lopa by the sutra which Vain knows now, which is the Krittadita samasascha samasta padam pradipedika sanya supo dhatu pradipedika yoho, then you make the upas. So vivaracharin. So one who had, okay, time's running out, but I think we can probably finish. Okay. So who was making his arrow move between the spaces of his fingers? That's the second adjective for him now. So first was this one, then was the second one. In fact, look at the order in which it is taken. So first his grip was on his bow. Secondly, he was moving his kind of, impatiently making his arrow move between the making kurvata. Kurvat is shatru pratyaya, kurvat, between the spaces of his fingers. Then yodhum ichhata, yudsuna, yudsu. Now comes in Gita, of course, first loka dharma kshetre, kurukshetre, samaveta, yudsavaha, yudsu. Okay, this quickly yudsu. How about Hema? You want to try some Hema for us? Some steps for us? What pratyaya is being used here, Hema?
Yutsu.
Dhatu is yud. And the pratyaya is sun. Dhatoho karmanaha samana kartukadichayam va. Dhatoho karmanaha. By the way, in the Wednesday class, all these classes are recorded for you now. So we had a very detail of this Sananta Prakriya in great detail. So almost every sutram we cover in that class. So dhatoho karmanaha samana kartukadichayam va. So any dhatu, right? So we say, for example, we say, what is another word in Gita? Mumukshuho. The one who wants to be free, mukshuho. Pipasuho, one who wants to drink, jidnyasuho. So nyatum ichchati jidnyasu. So the object of the dhatu is so samana kartuka. It has to be desiring for yourself, not for somebody else. Samana kartuka ichchayam va. So it has to be the object of the desire. So that dhatu which is the object of the desire, that action, that dhatu will take the pratyaya sun optionally. So dhatoho karmanaha samana kartukad ichchayam va. So it says nyatum ichchami. So the object of my desire is the desire to know. That dhatu nya, that one will take the pratyaya sun. And the sun pratyaya comes, the most difficult thing about sun, again time's running out and this will take a whole class, but the most difficult thing about the sun pratyaya is the idagamaha. There are complicated rules for the idagamaha, and the idagamaha, when it's not complicated rules, basically different rules, and then when the idagamaha comes, it dictates two things. When idagamaha comes, it dictates, I'll just give you numbers today and we'll move on, maybe we'll do it next time in some more details. Idagama, why is idagama so critical over here? Because this sutram says ekojal. Ekojal. Anantacha. If you have a jaladi sun, which means that there is no idagamaha. And igantam if you have, right, if you're ik prior to that, that becomes kit, ekojal, which means that the sun pratyaya, of course, which the sun pratyaya itself is sanya of ardhadhatukam. So it can do guna, but because if it doesn't have any idagamaha, and then if you have the ik prior to it, it becomes kit, so no guna. Similarly, halantacha, dhatu we have that name is yud, dhakaranta dhatuho, halanta dhatuho. So ik samipad halaf paraha. If you have a ik followed by a hal, followed by the pratyaya sun, which is what we have right now. Because what we have right now is we have this ik, which is ukaraha, iron rule, so e rule, followed by the hal, and then we have the pratyaya sun. So these rules come into effect, and there are some others also which we don't need right now, so we skip them for the time being. They come depending on whether there is an idagamaha sanpratyaya or not. The first thing you want to do with sanpratyaya is see whether the idagama is coming or not. After that, the steps become clear. So in dhatu, in the dhanteshu you have krudha, kshudha, buddhya, bandha, yudha. What am I talking about now? Talking about 7 to 10. Ekachu Pudesha Nudattat. As a general rule, every dhatu, as a default rule, every dhatu will allow an idagama. Remember, idagama comes to the pratyaya, not to the dhatu. One more time. Idagama comes to the pratyaya, not to the dhatu. So dhatu only allows the idagama, may not allow it also. So the Super Sutram is that Ardha Dhatu Kasyed Valadehe. Very pivotal sutram. All of you should know this one sutram, which is 7 to 35. Ardha Dhatu Kasyed Valadehe. So it has to be Valadi Pratyaya. Of course, the sun qualifies. Val is what? Val is hal minus what? Ha, ya, varat. So hal minus ya is val. So Ardha Dhatu Kasyed, it also has the sanya of Ardha Dhatu Kam, which also sun has. Ardha Dhatu Kasyed id Valadehe. So now idagama praptaha should be coming. But then comes the main Nishada Sutram, which is the Ekacha Upadeshanudattat, which means that if a dhatu in the dhatu bhata upadeshe is ekach, of course most dhatus are ekach. Almost all dhatus are ekach in dhatu bhata. Very few are anekach dhatu. And then if it has an anudatta swara on the dhatu vowel. Remember, when we talk about the vyavastha of asana padam, paraksha padam, at that time we are talking about the swara on the it letter. Anudatta nita
Atmane padam.
But here, for the idagama vyavastha, we are talking about the swara on the dhatu swara. Dhatoho ach. So remember, this is clearly in our mind. You're talking about asana padam, paraksha padam, you're talking about the swara, on the it. But you talk about the idagamaha coming or not, you're talking about the swara on the dhatu's ach. Two different things. Now, a dhatu may not have any it letter also, like bhu satyayam. There's no it letter, it doesn't have to have. But every dhatu will have to have at least one ach. As I told you, most of them have only one ach, only one single ach. So this sutram 7.4.10 says if that vowel has, 7 to 10, 7 to 10, if that vowel is anudatta, then it will not allow idagamaha. Now, to know this sutram, you have to apply sutram, you have to memorize the dhatu parta with the swaras. You're required to memorize the dhatu parta with the swaras on that to see. That is nearly impossible to do. I mean, not impossible, but it's difficult. So from the time of Patanjali itself, 2000 years ago itself, they said, well, let's do the parigananam. Let's make a list of these dhatus which are going to apply this rule. Now, one thing remember is that halanta dhatavaha prayena setaha is halanta dhatu. If you have, they will mostly allow idagamaha for the simple, for ucharanartham. You have a dhatu patha, you add the pratyakta, it becomes pathitam. If you didn't have the e in between, it becomes patha. Difficult to pronounce that. So it makes perfect sense that by number-wise, if you take halanta dhatus, they will be mostly set dhatavaha. Reverse for the ajanta dhatavaha. Reverse. So what Patanjali and all these people, what they did was that they said, fine, let us make a list of the exceptions only. So let's take the halanta dhatavaha, which are going to be on it. Let's take the ajanta dhata, which are set. And that list was compiled. And then on the halanta dhatu, there are about 103 dhatus, about 103, which are ending in hal, which are anit dhatavaha. And they are listed in alphabetical order. That's why it's read in the dhanteshu. In dhatus ending in dhakaraha, there are only a few of them, and yud is one of them. So after all of that, we know that there is no idagamaha. Idagamaha 7 to 10. Okay, time is almost up. We finish this one form. Look at the translation, and we'll continue next time. So okay. So what is happening here is that first of all, so 7 to this sutra that you use right now is dhatoho karmanaha saman kritika dichchayam san pratyaya. Then 7 to 10 is the in nishedha. So as I said, every dhatu will allow the idagama by default, but then if it is a nishedha, then no idagama. Then after that we apply the halanta cha. So the san pratyaya becomes kitta. Cannot do any guna adesha. Cannot do any guna. So now we got yud sa. Now after that we have to do the abhyasa. Sanyangoho, 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 sanyangoho. The 619. When you have the, now this is a small difference here now. Even lit pratyaya follows, the dhatu takes abhyasa. This is different. Sanyango is a shashti, which means that the entire dhatu plus the sun, that entire unit samudaya will take abhyasa, which means that all this, you have to finish the antarangam first. Interaction between yud and sun should be finished first. Only after all that is done, then do abhyasa. So this entire thing takes abhyasa. Of course, most of the time it will not make a difference because the fact that only the first ach takes abhyasa. So so it will not make a difference that this sun pratyaya, but sometimes it will. Sometimes it will. So what we're talking about is that this 611 says ekacho dve prathamasya. Ekacho dve prathamasya. You take the first prathama ekach bhagaha. Only that will take abhyasa. But the next sutram says ajadehe dvitiyasya, which is the ajadi dhatu. Then if it's anekach ajadi, then the second bhaga will take the abhyasa. Anyway, right now it's simple for us. We use 619, do the abhyasa of the entire thing. What we'll get is that only the ukara will take abhyasa. Abhyasa is only for the vowels. The consonants just tag along with it. Remember that abhyasa is only for the ach. And the consonants only go along with the ach. So always focus on how many vowels you have. So you have the vowel u and you have the vowel a. But ekacho dve prathamasya, only the ukara. Ukara will take along with it the yakara, dhakara, sakara. So because the next vowel a comes after that. So we use, after all of that, we are going to use along with 611. Okay. So then you apply 611 ekacho de prathamasya, and then 619, and you're going to get the abhyasa. Then do the abhyasa karam, and then I think we should be done with this, and we stop with that. So become yud sa plus yud sa. Of course, halantyam nakarasi sanya halantyam. That's straightforward by you, right? So, and now what do we do? Of course, haladish sheshaha. Haladish sheshaha. So we now get yud sa. Haladish shesha, which you heard many times today. And when we go to tripadikaram, we're going to do kharicha. Become yud sa. Now this will take a krut pratyaya, which is to make it yutsu, to make it into an adjective. This is only a dhatu, by the way. Sanadhyanta dhatavaha. Sanadhyanta dhatavaha, this gets the dhatu status. Sanadhyanta dhatavaha. Only derived dhatus with the dhatu status, because you cannot apply any krut pratyaya, you cannot do anything with it until it has a dhatu sanya. So dhatu sanya will only come in the bhuva adayaha. But now this is a new dhatu, derived dhatu. So sanadyanta dhatava. In fact, the first pratyaya is san. So from this 315 up to 3132, all the derived dhatus get a dhatu sanya. Otherwise, you cannot do anything with them. So, bup, tij gives a san. From there, all the way up to this, which has all the causative forms, frequentative forms, desiderative forms, or the nama dhatava, they get the dhatu sanya. And after that, so now we can go to dhatu adhikara, and we can use the participles. And the one here is the sanasham sabhikshauh. So if sananta, if you have in dhatu ashams and bhiksha, like bhikshu, pratyaya uhu can be used to form an adjective. Sanasham sabhikshauh. You take yud sa and then add the pratyaya u to make an adjective. So yuyutsuhu is yodhum ichhu, is one who wants to fight, yodhum ichhu. So take yudsa and then add the pratyaya. So you want to try this one, Hema? I want the akar lopaha now. How do I do that? Akar lopaha I want to do. Any idea? Any guesses? Ardhadhatu, okay, because pratyaya u is sanya of ardhadhatukam. Tinkshit sarvadhatukam, ardhadhatukam sheshada. Can you think of a sutram for the akar lopaha? Because otherwise ad guna adesha prapyate, anishtaha guna adesha prapyate. So you want, otherwise you take guna. Between O and you will have to do ad guna, which we don't want. We want to do akar lopaha. So Hema sutra for you for today, okay? It is very, very simple sutram, very simple, which is ato lopaha. Very simple. Ato lopaha, ardhadhatuke. Ato lopaha, ardhadhatuke. Very, very simple sutram, because this is pratyaya sanya of ardhadhatukam, ato lopaha, ardhadhatuke. 6448. So then we get, and of course we use karicha after that, karicha. So now Wayne, I think by the time you get your mic fixed, I think we have to give Hema the mic. I agree with you, Wayne? So because you have to get the mic.
Yes. I'll take the same numbers as my work also.
Okay. So you also got atolopa.
Yes.
You also atolopa.
Yes.
Atolopa. And then karicha. Okay. So yutsu means one who desires to fight. We'll stop. We'll do this next time. So basically, what we do is I'll do the translation and we'll continue. So translation is that the Rama was addressed by Parashurama. Parashurama was desiring to fight, and then who was kind of grabbing his bow in one hand, and who was making the arrow go between the space of his fingers, and who was now only for next time we have only two things, which is Vigata Bhihi, just check for Bahuvri compound. Vigata Bhihi Yasya Saha. It's qualifying Raghavaha now. It's Prathama Ekavachanam, Raghavasya Visheshanam. So Raghava, Rama was not afraid. So in spite of Parashurama threatening him like that, he was not afraid. And Purogataha, he also came in front of him. So Purogataha we do next time, and Vigata Bhihi. So he came in front of him fearlessly. He came in front of him. Even Parashurama was threatening him like that, with his bow and his arrow and all that. But he came fearlessly. He was fearless, and he came in front of him. Okay, Hema, let's do translation. Okay. So by him, who's that? What's that, Hema? By him?
By him, Tena.
Tena, very good. Then, who were desirous to do battle? Who's that?
Who was desirous
do battle. We just Yutsuna.
Yutsuna.
Yutsuna, desirous to battle. Okay. And then it placed his fist around a bow. So clenched
the Karmuka Mushti.
Nishakta Mushtam. Okay, this is the placed. And sun used to attached. So whose grip was attached to the bow. So attached. Sang, you know word Sangha, right? It's an attachment.
Correct, Sangha, yeah.
Because Shakta. And who was making an arrow enter the intervening space between his fingers. That is the making.
That was the Anguli. Making. Kurvata.
Sharam is of course the arrow. Sharam is a Visheshanam, which is Angli Vivara Charinam. So he was making his arrow move Charin between the space Vivara of his fingers. So that is that, Angli Vivara Charinam. And then was addressed, what's he saying? By him was addressed. Okay, was addressed is the What is that?
Raghava, right? Hey Raghava.
Nijagade was addressed.
Oh, Nijagati. Oh,
It's a
okay.
passive. See, Ukta, if you look at the commentary, Uktaha. This is a good translation because the translation use the commentary. In the translation, they use the tika. Uktaha was addressed. It's a passive form as it was addressed. Nijagade. The descendant of Raghuvamsham, who was standing before him, that's also Purogataha. We'll use next time.
Purataha.
Puras Gataha. Puras like Purohitaha is a priest who is placed in front. Purogataha. Okay. In fact, I'll give you a homework on this one quickly. And then, and who was undaunted is Vigati. Pashantatma Vigatabihi. Brahmachari Vrate Sthitaha. In chapter 6. Find in Gita chapter 6, find this. I think you have Vigatabihi chapter 6. Okay. Now last homework for you, Purogataha. This gets the Gati Sanya because this is not an Upasarga. It's behaving like an Upasarga. That's the Gati Sanya. So for next time for homework, Gati comes in what? In this, first of all, you start from this, start from the, not 2-4, 1-4. 1-4 and 50 or 56 is Nipataha, then Pradeha, Gatishcha. So what I'd like to do for next time, start from Gatishcha and go up to 1479 and find the word Puras in there. Okay. So time is up. Let's stop with that. So Ramo Raj, thank you, Ma. So Ramo Rajamani Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Vyata Nishachara Chamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha Rama Nasti Paranam Paratam Ramnasyadatosmyam Rame Chittale Sada Bhautame Bho Rama Mamudhara Rama Rame Tirame Tirame Rame Manurume Sahasranama Tatsulyam Ramanama Varamane Shri Ramanama Varamana Unnamiti. Again, this is February 17th, Brihaspati Varaha.